Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I've got a story time video for you and it's about my haunted house. So basically I'm going to start with a story that happened to me when I was about 17 because it ties into what happened to me about 2 or 3 nights ago. So when I was 17 I obviously had a single bed and it was one of those beds that had the underneath storage part, so you could lift the bed up and put all your rubbish underneath there. But one night I was in bed and I was just on my phone texting away. So I was just in my bed on my phone and it was quite late, so I put my phone away. I thought, right, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Got into bed, got all comfy, pulled the covers over me, and then there was this huge bang, like something had just dropped to the floor, and then my entire bed shook from side to side. So this is one of these beds that doesn't have any feet on it, so it's not raised off the floor, it's completely flat to the floor, and it just shook from side to side really quick, to the point where I was like thrown about in the bed. Being the person that I am, I just sort of tried to justify it in my head. I thought that maybe because it was quite a stiff bed to pull down, that the hydraulic part in the bed hadn't quite met the base of the bed and it had just moved somehow and that had shook the bed or something like that. So I just went straight to sleep and completely just forgot all about it. And that brings me to what happened about 2 or 3 nights ago. So me and my boyfriend were in bed. So this bed is a double bed and again it doesn't have any legs, it's completely flat to the floor. So we got into bed and things started to happen slightly earlier on in the night. So we were watching a film and about halfway through watching our film, about an hour in, the laptop that we were watching it on said that it was overheating and it was best to switch it off and return it back to the shop or whatever to get it fixed. That's never happened before, so we were like, right, okay, best turn it off because I don't want it to break. So we turned it off, got into bed, whatever, and then I said, oh, put the lamp on. So he went to switch the lamp on and the lamp wasn't working, the lamp wouldn't switch on. I was like, oh great, that's like brilliant. So I had 2 lamps either side of my bed, so we used the lamp on the other side, switched the bulb into the other lamp to see if it was the bulb that had blown. No, it wasn't. Neither of the lamps were working, so we just gave up on that idea. But on my wall I've got 2 heart lights, so I said I'll put the heart light on instead and then we'll just switch that off before we go to bed. So I got up, switched the light on, and the lights on my heart light weren't working either. So everything was just sort of not working basically. So we just gave up, got into bed and ended up falling asleep. So it was about midnight. In fact, I know for a fact that it was midnight because I was asleep and I got woken up to a huge thud, and it was like something really, really heavy had just dropped to the floor. So that woke me up, but I was at a point where I was still asleep but sort of awake. I could have quite easily just fallen back to sleep. But after this huge thud, the entire bed shook again, and it was so like vigorous that it was throwing me about. My boyfriend didn't wake up, he just sort of stirred in his sleep, so I just lay there frozen with fear, like what the hell was that? As I was lying there trying to like justify what had just happened in my head, I got this overwhelming feeling that I was being watched, like someone was in the room watching me, and I was just like, oh hell no, this is not, no, I'm not about to die tonight. So I went to my boyfriend, I was like, wake up, wake up, wake up, and he was like, what's going on? And I said, did you not feel the bed just move? Did you not feel the bed just move? And he was like, no, what do you mean? I said, the whole bed just shook. How did you not wake up? How did you not feel that? It was really like, it was like an earthquake. And he was like, no. And I said, well, go and turn the main light on, because at this stage it was the only light that was working in my room. He went and turned the big light on, and we like looked around the bed. It literally felt like the whole entire bed had just collapsed or something like that. I was thinking, oh god, my bed's broken or something's happened. We literally searched around the entire bed and it was completely fine. Yeah, after we searched around the entire bed, we then got back into bed and I explained to him that there was a huge thud that woke me up and then the entire bed shook. And then I wasn't going to wake him up because I thought that something had just fallen in my room or something like that. But if it had just been a big thud, I would have just passed it off as something's maybe fallen out in my wardrobe or fallen off my dresser or something like that. But the fact that the entire bed shook that didn't make sense to me. And as I was lying there trying to think what it could be, I remembered what had happened to me when I was like 17, back in my old bed, and that really creeped me out because it was exactly the same, the big thud and then that entire bed shaking. But the fact that it's a bigger bed and there's two of us in it just made absolutely no sense to me. And the fact that there isn't any hydraulics in this bed. It's not an ottoman bed, you can't lift it up and store anything underneath it. It is just as it is, a solid bed, flat to the floor. So we were both freaking out at this point, and I was like, right, okay, this is silly, let's just try and go to sleep. We can't justify it. Staying up all night is not going to help us. We've both got work tomorrow, let's just go to sleep. So we both fall asleep. So my boyfriend doesn't know this because he was quite freaked out on the night, and I didn't want to tell him because I don't want him to never stay at my house ever again. So if you're watching this, I'm really sorry. So basically, after all that had happened and that we'd gone to sleep, it must have been about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It must have been a bit later on because I know that we'd both fallen asleep. I was woken up again, but it was by this talking. It was like a lady's voice talking, and I was sort of like coming round, waking up from my sleep, and I was thinking, what, who is that speaking? And I was just sort of lying there listening, trying to make out what was being said, but what this woman was saying didn't make any sense to me. It was like it was in a completely different language. It was just like murmuring. It was like a voice, but she was just murmuring. She wasn't actually saying anything. And then, to my surprise, my boyfriend lying next to me went, yeah, okay. And I was like, what do you mean, yeah, okay? Who are you talking to? What have you just agreed to? What the hell's going on? Who's in my room? What on earth is going on? At this stage I was really freaked out, so I shot up in bed, looked at my boyfriend, who was fast asleep, and just thought, this night is getting so weird. Am I actually going to get any sleep because I've got work tomorrow and this isn't really fair on me? So whoever the ghost is in my room trying to keep me up, can you just go away please, because some of us have to earn a living. Following day I said to my mum, did you hear that big thud last night? Something really strange happened last night. There was a huge thud, did you hear it? And she was like, yeah, actually I did. I heard like a massive bang because your dad said to me, did you hear that huge thud? What the hell was that? And I said, no, this was before Dad came to bed, because after this had happened, my dad had just come up to bed and it was exactly 12 o'clock. It was exactly midnight. And then my dad had come up about 10 minutes later. This was before Dad had gone to bed. And she was like, oh no, I heard a big bang and then I saw like a shadow in my room and I assumed that it was your dad. But at this point I'm just like, I'm sorry, what? You saw what? In your what? So yeah, she said that she saw this big black figure in a room and assumed that it was my dad. But the bang had happened before my dad came to bed, so I know for a fact that my dad was downstairs. Then she said that when my dad had gone to bed, that they both heard a bang too. So I don't know if it happened again and we just didn't wake up the second time or what, but I don't know. We don't really live in an area where you get like earthquakes or tremors or anything like that, so if anybody can explain this to me or if it's happened to you, please comment down below, because we're both just like, what on earth is going on? Especially me, because it's happened before. This is like the second time that it's happened to me now and I just can't justify it. I don't understand. So like I say, if you know, please comment down below, because thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. If you want to hear some more storytime videos, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up this video, it helps me out a lot, and I'll see you in my next one.